Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means that it's time for us to talk about coping with life in terms of how to save money in the kitchen. And today I'm really very excited because we're going to do all sorts of experiments that I've never done before. And the reason that this came about was because, as some of you heard at lunchtime, my Christmas organization fell apart when we had 16 inches of snow, and then I caught a really terrible cold. As you can probably hear, I've still got it. But what I ended up with was way too much of certain things because I'd already ordered in to make food to take to my neighbors for Christmas Eve. And particularly, I wasn't too worried about some things, but one thing I really was worried about was I bought way too much lettuce, twice as much lettuce as I will need in the next week. So I started to think about how can I do this? How can I not waste the lettuce? And I would like you to just think about it. Hi, Nyasha, and hi to Jody. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. And Nyasha, in case I don't see you beforehand, happy birthday for the first. I know it's your birthday coming up, so I hope you have a wonderful birthday. So anyway, so what I did was a little bit of research to work out how could I not waste the lettuce. Now, I don't know about you. How many ways can you think of that we could use lettuce and not waste it? Now, let me show you how much lettuce I've got. I've got 3 heads of romaine here, but I've already used about half of one. But this is only half of it. I've got another 3 sitting in my fridge. That's a lot of lettuce. I've got a living lettuce here, and that one I'm not too worried about, except there's another one in the fridge, of course. But I'm not too worried because I think the living lettuce will probably stay okay. I'll let you know on that one. So, but I've also got too many tomatoes. I've got too many red peppers. I've got too many carrots going on, all sorts of things. So what I thought I would do is to share with you some of the fascinating ways I found to use food. Now, and this includes, do any of you have any leftover food from Christmas? You know, you're wondering how many different ways can I preserve the turkey? How many different ways can I, you know, use the vegetables up and so forth? And I want to tell you, I never thought about this before, but some of these ideas that I found were really incredible. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is I know that with too many tomatoes, this is what I normally do. Let me show you. Normally when I have too many tomatoes, I mush them all up in my blender, and then I make these tomato pucks. Okay? And I use them in soups or stews, or if I'm making shepherd's pie or whatever. And that's pretty easy. So I just use my blender and I blend them up. I'm just realizing while I've got that out, I can get them to use up slightly less space. And then once they're frozen solid like this, I just put them in a baggie. Okay. Let's do this one more. Okay, so this was the last time I had too many. Hi, Karen, good to see you. This is the last time I had too many tomatoes. This is what I did with them. Now, that's a really good idea if you've still got freezer space. But like me, I know some of you are already. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sharon. Can I share that news for anybody that might watch this later? But happy Christmas and New Year to you. Anyway, so You're right. So Sharon was just saying that she doesn't know how long she's going to be here today because she's still at her parents' and her father isn't doing too well. Wish him well from all of us if it's relevant. All right, so here we go. We can freeze these if we still have enough room in the freezer. So I'm going to put these back in. And again, think about how many ways you can use the pucks of tomato. You could make a green juice or rather a tomato clematis type juice, of your own, healthy. You could, as I said, add them to soups, stews, anything like that. Really good idea. However, I've already got those in the freezer and I've still got way too many tomatoes. I've got the tomatoes sitting here, plus I've still got more in my fridge. So I want to get rid of some of them. I have shown you once before, and I just wanted to remind you that I dehydrate tomatoes as well. Now, because I know I don't have a lot of room in my freezer, I dehydrate them and just keep them in a mason jar. Okay. Now, the one thing I have to tell you that is surprising, these are surprisingly tasty just on their own as a snack. And how many of you know we don't get enough red things in our diet? We try to eat the rainbow, but normally the red things are things that we don't eat enough of. So think about making some snacks like that. Then I've got a tomato here. I've got a tomato. There are another one in the fridge and some grape tomatoes in the fridge. Jody's saying, I love dehydrated tomatoes. Yes, and I'm learning more about this. So here is what I read today. Have you ever thought about making lettuce chips? I'd never heard of that. I've heard of kale chips, but I've never heard of making lettuce chips. So I thought we would try some. So I'm going to take some lettuce. Okay, I'm going to take some lettuce. Question, what am I going to do with this bit? It's the bottom of the lettuce. I'm going to cut it down a bit and it's going to go into start growing ready for my garden in the spring. All right. Yeah. Sandy's saying that she's done kale chips. I've never done lettuce ones. So what it said is, just wash them. So let's put them in there and let's wash them. Hang on, let's do more than that. Okay. Okay. Why isn't that not sitting properly? There you go. Okay, so now this is what it said. All right, so Jody's saying she's done Brussels sprout chips years ago, but never lettuce chips. Now, I've never done lettuce chips. So here's what the guy said. Just want to put this lot aside for a minute. Because this is our next thing. What he said was obviously wash them and then dry them. Just pat them dry. So we're going to do that next. That looks good. Now, I've never done this, so I'm hoping this will work. Okay. Then he said, and I found this fascinating, what I found really interesting was he said, then make a really nice topping to go over the lettuce. All right. I thought this was incredible. So what he said, and let's do this. Take a small jar. Now, we could start off with a base of some tomato, couldn't we? Yes, good idea. Use up some tomatoes. Okay, tomatoes are good. Let's put in a little bit of spicy mayo. And then some regular mayo. Oh, you know I love to play. Yeah, that's good. And then, now some of you like your stuff more spicy than others. Obviously, if you like garlic and stuff, throw it in. I'm allergic, so I can't do that. I'm going to put some black pepper. I'm going to put in a little bit of Montreal steak spice, because that's always nice and crunchy. And for some reason, that's got dehydrated garlic, and for some reason, it doesn't affect me. It's wonderful. So we've got that. What else can we put in there, people? Maybe that's enough. Some basil. Let's put in some basil. I was showing everybody how this is my grown and dried basil, so we'll huck some of that in. That'll be nice. How about some grown and dried chives? Throw some of that in. Oh, this is going to be tasty. Okay, and let's just give it a whirl, as they say. Okay. So obviously you would just make whatever you want to cover your lettuce leaves in. But this sounds pretty tasty to me. Yeah, put more hot sauce in if you like hot sauce. I'm thinking a tad of lemon juice would go down well. It's really up to your creativity what you want to put in there. But I'm glad I've used up some of the tomato. That's the idea. Okay, and now what he said was you just literally coat the lettuce leaves. That's pretty easy to do. Nothing wrong with that. Don't have a problem with that at all. That's way easier than I thought it would be. So while I'm doing this, come up with other ideas about what you could put on the leaves, just so we give each other ideas here. Now, the question is, I've still got some leftovers. Oh, Jody, definitely pick up Montreal steak spice. Hang on, let me get it back for you. I don't get paid by them, but you know I use it a lot. Look at the size of the jar. It's really good on almost anything. And they make a, hang on, just so you know. You're probably interested in that one as well. It's a really nice combination of, I use that a lot with chicken and turkey and stuff. Okay. So now we got the leaves done. Now you can dehydrate in your oven. Just do some Googling and find out how to do it. In my air fryer, I can do it, but the first thing I'm going to do is put it in the that dehydrator plate right at the top. And what that does is it stops the air pushing so hard. It just deflects the air a bit and the heat. So that goes in first, and I don't know if you can see, but I put a red bow on the handle of my air fryer because I need to remember later on tonight to take that tray out, the deflecting tray out. All right, so let's put some leaves on. Try not to cover them try and keep them isolated with enough room for the air to flow around them. I'm quite looking forward to trying these. Why did I never think of this? I never had this much lettuce, right? I think I'm going to warm that up first. Air fry. All right. It's going to do it at 130. What it said when I was doing the research is 140 or 140 Fahrenheit or 60 centigrade, and for 3 hours in the air fryer, 8 hours in an oven. sheet. And because an air fryer obviously has air running around it, I'm just trying to make sure that the lettuce doesn't float around inside there. So I'm putting something over the top to stop it flying. Now these I want to deal with after the broadcast, so I'll put them in there for now. Now then, here's something that, again, I don't know why I never thought of this. One of the suggestions it had, by the way, do any of you have any leftover turkey or leftover ham or stuff like that? And you're going, you know, I've done about as many leftovers as I want to. Maybe you're freezing some of it, but if, like the rest of us, you don't have room left in your freezer, what are you going to do? Why not make turkey jerky or ham jerky? Okay, and that just means you're going to dry it. Again, use your oven or your air fryer if you've got one, and you know, put stuff on top of it, make it tasty, and then dry it out. Now, here's the thing I just blew my mind, and I never thought of it, but it said, remember that lettuce is a green leaf. Okay? And what it said is, this blew my mind, add it to your smoothies. You know, we add kale, we add spinach, but it's saying, why not put lettuce into your smoothies? I thought that was brilliant, so let's do one of those. So let's put in a couple of leaves. And I'm doing it because if you don't see that I do it, then you probably won't even try it. No, so that's not how it works. Okay, so I'm going to put in half a banana. Some almond milk. Now, I've never done this, but what if we throw in some dehydrated tomatoes? Because if we don't try it, we'll never know. Then uh-oh, hold on a second, people. I'm trying to find some fruit here. Beetroot, okay. Onion. Okay, can't find it quickly, so what I wanted to find was I got some frozen cherries, but let's just try it with this. So, oh, I'm going to put some whole milk in there. I know what we'll put in there. Here's some whole milk. And I'm just going to put a teaspoon of jam in to give it some taste, because I can't get to the fruit at the moment. Oh, I know what I can do. Here we go. Remember we were talking about gelatin? I'm going to put a little bit of gelatin powder in there, because that's good for me, otherwise known as Jello. So that's a bit of raspberry. I knew there was a plan. Sandy's asking me if I ever found the vanilla. Yes, I did. And I still forgot to give it away for Christmas. So I need to get it out where I can see it. Thank you for asking about it. It should be really good by now. Let me just whip this up. Okay, so you can't see the lettuce, which is good. Let me try it. I was trying to work out, what am I chewing on? Bits of tomato. Okay, what I can taste is the banana. I can't taste the tomato, and I can't taste the lettuce. So therefore, all my smoothies this week are going to have lettuce in them. That's so good. So that experiment worked. And I'm still eating the tomato bits. That's awesome. Now then, the next thing it said, I thought was brilliant. We're going to get Nigel the Ninja to help us here. It said, the next suggestion that I found was this. It said, put it in your blender and turn it into powder. How about that? I'll be right back. Now, this is a trick I learned quite a while ago. If you just try and do it like this, it's going to sort of not do it smoothly. All right, some big leaves are still in there. Here's what I recommend. Put some water in there. Okay, and then do it again. Ha-ha. And now you will see the stuff at the bottom is much finer than the stuff at the top. Very good. I can do it a bit more. So exciting. How many of you are watching me do this and thinking, I just poured away the green juice? Duh. Next time, I will save the juice and use it in a smoothie. But now I have got minced lettuce. Which we're going to spread out. Now, how many of you would never have thought to turn it into lettuce powder to add to your smoothies? Okay, take up hardly any room. I'm going to put another piece of paper on top of it to absorb the moisture. And then I'm going to put that in my, I've got a homemade dehydration thing over a floor vent. All right, so this is going to go in to that room, and I'm going to do it now so I don't forget. Now, Jody made a really good, Jody, I would never have thought of doing that either. And I'm thinking, what a great idea. How many things could you add that green powder to? You could just sprinkle it over salads. You could sprinkle it over sour cream, make a sour cream lettuce type dip. And then I went, boy, it's not, by the time that's dried, it's not going to take up any space at all. Great way to use up stuff. So I was thinking, while we're at it, and the nutrition is concentrated, absolutely, Jody. And that's why I think it's a great idea. So now then, seeing as we're on a roll, I'm going to take the rest of my vegetables that I don't need. I've got plenty still in the fridge. By the way, I recommend. How many of you buy a couple of stalks of lettuce a week rather than a complete head of lettuce because you won't use it? I have had this head of lettuce for a month. And occasionally I will throw one stalk out, but quite honestly, this is what it looks like at the end of the month. I just, peel every day. I just peel another couple of bits off it. Throw away any bits that look funny, but I'm still using the same lettuce, celery. All right, so let's put some celery in here. Okay, what about some leftover carrot? Because if we can do, I'm now going to make myself my own personal vegetable powder. How much do you pay for that, Jody? Such a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Didn't have the need before, that's why. Okay, so there's some more carrot there. I've got some leeks I'm going to throw in, the greenery. We know we're going to have the lettuce go in there as well. It's good. Let's put those tomatoes in. Tomatoes. I'm going to put in some red pepper. That looks good. What have I forgotten? Green onion. Yeah, why not? Let's put some green onion in there. And you all know that I keep my green onion growing for a season. Why am I chopping it? Ninja's going to chop it. Nigel the ninja. All right, so there we go. Leftover vegetables, people. I'm just going to let Nigel do his thing. When I find the lid. There we go. Now, I wanted you to see me do this in real time so you could see just how little work it really is. That's my nut bag I'm going to put in there. Probably was an easier way of doing this one. Oh. So let's have a little think here. All right, so Jody's saying veggie powder is about $40 to $50 per container at your health food store. And of course, it isn't nearly as fresh as mine will be. Right. Now then, because I've got green and orange, green from the leeks, orange from the carrots in here, this is going to turn slightly brown. So I would now keep this, probably freeze it in ice cubes and keep it to add to gravies. How many of you are going, that's smart? Or use it as a base for a vegetable type smoothie. So what I'm going to do is just put it in a jar for now. I'm making a big mess here, people. So again, if you're on a tight budget, think about this. What we've just done is preserve the high nutrients of the vegetables, given ourselves vegetable stock and vegetable powder. All right, I'm going to put this onto a thing without any cost. Why? Because we just used what we would have thrown away. I think that's pretty good cost saving. Let me make some room here. Looks good. How many of you know that's going to be quite tasty in any gravy or any meat that I'm cooking this week, to add it to everything. By the way, if I'm having pasta this week, I'm going to make the pasta in this. In other words, not just straight water. I will actually boil the pasta in this vegetable juice so that it adds the nutrients to the pasta. Clever? Now, I think I've got enough room now. Nearly enough room anyway. Put that away. I'm going to take another one of these. And then just spread it out as thinly as you can. And then I'm going to put another piece of paper on top to help absorb a bit more of the moisture. And that's going into the back room to dehydrate over the air vent for the next couple of days. I'll be right back. Saved enough. Okay, let's put that away. Before I put it away, just want that. How many of you would never have thought about this? I mean, I'm just going, why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant. And as a powder, it takes up no room at all. And as a powder, I'm not going to even notice it in my smoothies. And who would have ever thought to put a lettuce leaf in or two in with your smoothie? So now I know I'm going to be able to use up the lettuce. I'm happy. And if I'm not using it up fast enough, I'm going to dehydrate it, use it as powder. Now, the obvious way to use up your leftovers is, I've decided for the next few days I'm going to have a lot of salads because that's obviously the most natural thing to do. But I'm going to try and make it a bit creative, all right? That I'm not just going to have salad and salad and salad. I went to the pantry to see what have I got in a tin that's been there, since we did that shopping for the pantry. And Jody, please remind me to buy more tinned meat because I've been using mine up and it's time to replenish it. But what I've got here is some flaked ham. Thank you, Jody. I've got some flaked ham. So I'm going to make my dinner tonight. Got to think, people. So I'm going to take a couple of leaves. Now, whenever I have one of these, I take off the outside leaves because I reckon those are the ones that people might have touched. I don't know what you do. A bit wasteful, maybe, but I feel safer that way. And then let's take a few leaves. So now that lettuce is a lot smaller than it was. So I'll be able to use up the butter lettuce very quickly this week as well. So what about lettuce wraps? We can make lettuce wraps, or we can just make a lettuce type salad, which is what I'm going to do with it. So what I'm going to do is to take a little bit of this come on, come out of there. What did I do with, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So let's take my sharp knife. It's not my sharp knife either, but it will do. So what I'm going to do here is just mix in some more vegetables, because I'm trying to use up vegetables. Mix that in there with that. We've got some tomatoes, so actually I think I'm going to make them easier to eat. Now, you could have leftover turkey or ham or whatever from Christmas, but what I recommend is just turn it into a very tasty concoction. And I'm pretty sure, you know, that you've made sandwiches and everything. So lettuce wraps, yeah. I agree. Jodie's saying that she likes lettuce wraps for tacos, right? So it's just like make lettuce wraps, much healthier, and it will help use up your leftover meat. And of course, if you don't want to do that, you could also dehydrate the meat. That's what jerky is, dehydrated meat. Now, I haven't got too much mayo in here yet because I want this to be fairly solid consistency. I think I can eat all of this. Didn't expect that. And we'll throw some celery on top. Make it pretty. A few chives on top of that. Now, do you think that's something I could eat while I'm busy binge watching in a moment? So, leftovers, it could be. I actually just used a can, but leftover anything mixed with some mayo, mixed with some other vegetables. And now you've got a very nice plate of stuff that you can basically, if I did this right, which I might not have done, you can sort of pick it up like this and it's a mouthful of food. So healthy. Yes, Jody. And so simple. So, what did you learn this evening that you didn't know before I go off and eat? Because I've now got lettuce in my teeth. How many of you will rethink throwing away the ends of vegetables, start pulverizing them and turn them into veggie powder that you can add to your meats, your soups, your smoothies, everything? Just that much healthier. If you've got kids, add it to your mac and cheese. If they can't see it, they won't know it's healthy. Think about the juice that I collected, right? How many of you cook your pasta in just straight water? Don't do that, right? Whenever you've got vegetable juice, use it. There is no reason to waste them, Jody's saying. So many great ideas on how to use them up. Well, only if you want to save money. How many of you know this is, we've got quite a few things on the go here, right? We've got vegetable powder being made. We've got lettuce chips being made. That'll take 3 or 4 hours. By the way, Jody, I want you to address something that you mentioned to me one time when we were doing dehydration. One of the things that Jody said was that she has a fear of it because she did it once. And when she opened it up, it was moldy. So Jody, all the research that I've done, there is a very simple answer to it all. Would you like to hear it? And they recommend this whenever you're dehydrating, do it in a 2-step process. Okay? So number 1, all this stuff that's dehydrating, I'm going to let it do it for the time that it says, right? 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. Once it is done, I'm going to transfer it. This is just my idea. I'm going to transfer it into, I know I bought them out. What did I do with them? Okay. I'm then going to transfer them out into my paper bags. I do my dehydrating in paper bags now. So once they're done out of here, I'm going to transfer them into here. Okay? Wrap them up and then hang them over the air vent, floor vent. And I will leave them for a week. There is no way after a week of being, in the winter, being above a floor vent. It's quite a way up, by the way, because all I want is the air circulating and the heat circulating around it. After being there for a week, it's going to be fine. In the summer, I put them in those bags and then put them in a very sunny window, right? So dehydrate it for what you think is the right time and then do a second dehydration. And that's I feel better when I do it because I know it's really dry now. Once you've got it really dry, you can either keep it, as I said, you can either keep it like this. And by the way, let's just add some sun-dried tomatoes, because I think that's what these were, on top. People pay good money for that, people. Think about how many things you can now save and not take up nearly the same amount of space. And from my experiments, dehydration obviously takes up less space, but powder, if I can start using vegetable powder, that means I don't have to throw any vegetables away. I don't know why. That sounds like a much healthier way of doing it. And then I can just, add, not a whole lot, but I can add, like a teaspoon. I don't know what they recommend. Jody, what would be the norm? Could you just Google that for us quickly? But use a teaspoon or maybe 2, I don't know, whatever it says, into a smoothie. I have now added serious vegetables with all the nutrients in it. I know how it was made. Fresh. I did it myself. There's nothing funny in there. No preservatives or anything like that. It's just my stuff. And I'm saving a fortune in money, and I'm not throwing it away. Now, I've had people try and sell me vegetable powder, and quite honestly, I went, why would anybody want it? But now I'm going, why would I not want it? If I want to be healthier, it means more fiber. What are vegetables? Fiber. Just by adding a teaspoon or 2 of vegetable powder, I'm going to be adding more fiber in without even noticing it. So I've got a choice, right? I can either buy, the Metamucil type fiber, or I can put in my own. Do you understand the sort of things I'm thinking about here? Which is, think about how can we do this better and save a lot of money. I already have bought psyllium husk. Okay, Jody's saying, thank you, 1 tablespoon of vegetable powder per smoothie. All right, but think about this. If you take, things like Metamucil to add fiber to your body, I have bought psyllium husk in bulk, and I'm going to now mix psyllium husk and the vegetable powder and blend those right down into a very, very fine consistency, and then add those into my smoothies. That means I don't have to buy Metamucil anymore. I've now got everything I need, and the extra fiber and the extra vegetable goodies. It's like, it's not rocket science. It's like, why not? It's stuff that you normally would throw away. Can you imagine? I sat there going, I'm not throwing away that much lettuce. There has to be something I can do. They're recommending, by the way, that you can use, if you're making if any of you make those bowls, where you have bowls of stuff, add a handful of lettuce, chopped lettuce into the center. Use lettuce the same way you would use cabbage. You can actually cook it. You can fry it. You can do all sorts of things. Yes. And so Jody is reminding me that there is so much more nutrition in the vegetable powder versus the Metamucil. That's what I think as well. So there's my view for today. I didn't know I was going to be doing this broadcast until I opened the fridge and I saw how much lettuce there was, and I went, there's got to be a way I can use that up. And how many of you know that this is going to be good and tasty? All right? And I can either waste it or I can use it. So I'm going to be doing a process of dehydrating vegetables this week that I've got, so that by next week I can show you what it looks like. I'm presuming you would like to see the after of that. So hope you have a wonderful evening. Hope this opened your eyes up to what is possible, how to save even more money in the kitchen if you want to, and yet still be really healthy. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly. Happy birthday to Nyasha for the first, and I'll see you all next year. Think about that. Thanks for your help, Jody, and bye-bye for now. I'm off to eat.